Welcome, guys. I want to talk about this for a few minutes because it came to my spirit and it's been a recurring thing on my spirit for the last several days. And it's sort of an extension on how to respond to this chaos in the world right now. Now, so for a little quick background to build sort of a foundation, I think it's so easy right now to get so wrapped up in the chaos and try to react, right? Not to respond, but to react. To react from a place of emotion, of passion, of inspiration, of fear, of frustration. And that is not wise. And it's very difficult not to react because it's so incredibly visceral, and there's this thought of like, well, I need to do something, I need to do something right now. Like, what do I do? And right, like panic, anxiety. And in my experience, what I've found is that thought process leads to overwhelm and burnout to the point where you're not even able to be effective in the thing that you're wondering if you should be doing. So that's just been my experience in the last several days. And so I want to give you an encouragement and share something that I haven't really heard anyone else share at this time. And that is that although the war takes place every single day, there is a trajectory in this world. There is a direction that we are heading. And I think that is something very important to take note of, to have a vision of where God desires us to be down the line. Because if we fight today for today, we might win today. But what about the larger war? Like, we might win a battle today, but what about the larger war? And this might be difficult to do because there's so much emotion involved, and it's hard to, be strategic because you want to just do what you think is best right now. And I understand that. And if you feel led to do that, go for it. I'm not going to step in your way. You do what God is leading you to do. I've just been wrestling with that in my own life. Maybe it's because of the way that my brain works, because I'm very specific, I'm very elaborate. I think things through, I revise plans and visions, and through making music and these projects that I've been working on, I'm visualizing the long term, and there's something I'm building towards. And so that's just the way that my brain works. But I want to encourage you, like, the war is not just today. The war is the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, right? Until Jesus returns. And no man knows the day or the hour. We could be here for another 5 years, or we could be here for another 100 or another few hundred, right? Realistically speaking, I would assume that it's sooner rather than later, but no man knows the day or the hour. And time, when it comes to God, is a little bit different than how we interpret time, I think. So reflect on, I challenge you to pray about this and reflect on just gathering the gifts that you have. What gifts has God given you? What skills has He given you? How has He created you for your mind to work? For like what is the work that you do? What are how do you work with other people? Like, all these types of things. Take into account who you are and bring that to the foot of the cross, asking God, how can I best serve you? Not just to do something that's good for the sake of feeling a sense of self-righteousness and feel like I did my part, but deeper than that. Like, how can I squeeze every drop out of this life that you have gifted me? Teach me how to do that. And I'm still in the process of this a little bit. God has sort of really quieted the noise off on the outskirts of my mind. And so things are narrowing in more and more. And I'm becoming more and more encouraged because I'm realizing that the way that I live my life, like the way that I live my entire life, is not just today. Today affects every day. But I don't need to live my entire life today, if that makes sense. And so I just encourage you to have peace that like where there is no vision, the people perish. And so if you have a vision for the long-term trajectory, for your life, for your family, for your children, for the generations to come, that is where we need to be looking towards. Not that we live in the future. We have to act out in the present. The Holy Spirit is in the present moment. But there's more to this than today. When we think about how the enemy works and how the enemy has worked, and you think back to stuff like World War II and the sexual revolution in history, how incremental has this degeneration of culture and society been? How gradual have lies been making their way into the media more and more and more, so that you notice them, but you're like, oh, well, it's just another lie. Like, I'm familiar with that, and it's not completely outrageous. I mean, now it's completely outrageous. But when we look at the last like 50 years, or maybe you'd have to look into more than that, maybe the last 70 years or so, like the steady decline of morality, of ethics, of Christianity in the West and belief in God, the increase of depression, anxiety, confusion, people not knowing what their purpose is, young people being lost, and just people not thinking for themselves. This isn't something that happened overnight. This is something that has steadily been implemented by the enemy, and something that people, whether knowingly or unknowingly, have participated in to get us to where we are. I'm not going to, I don't think that every single person who has been a pawn of the enemy is even aware of it. I think some people they have ideas, they think it's a good idea, they think they'll make money, they don't think any deeper than that, and they just do what they think is best. A lot of people are ignorant. I don't say that I'll just leave it at that. But what we are called to do is to share the gospel, to love people, to bring them into the light, to draw them by the love of God, and share truth with them and share knowledge with them so that they can be equipped to navigate this life. And so I don't want to get too sidetracked, but the main thing that comes to my mind is, like, I think of the next generation. I think of the people, the kids in today's world, the kids who are 4 years old, 5 years old, in elementary school, teenagers in high school. Like, that's the future. That's the future of our world. Now, it may not be every single person's calling to reach out to that demographic specifically, but I've just felt like an encouragement to not get so emotionally wrapped up in right now, but to continue focusing on the future. We have a future to build, and we can start building it right now. And Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Like, the church didn't, just suddenly grow to what it is now in a day. This has been a progression. And so, in the same way that there's been a decline, I think that we need to just be aware of the future that God is calling us to, and work towards that. And just keep that in mind, that don't focus so much on the battle that you lose sight of the war. Have the war in the back of your mind, because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger. Wow, this is like making me, yeah. It's bigger than you, and it's bigger than me. This is the future of the world. This is the future of Canada. This is the future of the United States. This is the future of politics, of Christianity, of the way that we interact with each other, of the way that people feel in a public setting. What we do now will affect all of that. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think I've covered everything. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. And take this to prayer. Just surrender it at the foot of the cross and be like, God, what is it that you're calling me to do? And how can you realign my heart posture to be focused on you and oriented towards you, because the why matters. The why matters probably more than anything. Why are you doing what you are doing? I love you guys. God bless.